Good morning and welcome to the racing show on Amy Golden Slipper Day 1998. And wow, have we got a treat in store for you today, racing fans. The track's in perfect order, the sun's shining, and everything's in readiness for the running of the 42nd Golden Slipper Stakes. You can see it's just after 11:30 in the morning, but there's already plenty of people here at the hill for this great day's racing. I think we're going to go close to a record crowd this afternoon, and well we might with such splendid conditions. Now, John Tapp's not with us this morning. He's already climbing the many steps to his tower to call all the action of the 9 races for you on 9 this afternoon. But with me is a man who's a little bit jumpy, being the manager of the syndicate that races one of the slipper runners, Compulsion, and that, of course, is Simon O'Donnell. You look a little bit sweating up just a touch, mate.
Well, I'm sweating up mainly because of the Sydney sunshine beating down on the back of our heads, but look, it's a great day. It's exciting. I've never been involved in a runner in the slipper before, and it's great to have been able to board this one and be here today.
Of course, Compulsion's just one of 3 slipper runners trained by Lee Friedman. Lee, the winner of 4 of the last 5 Golden Slippers. Can you do it again?
Well, I think I can, Ken. I got 3 good chances in the race, and I think Danelar's worked really well this week. Compulsion seems to have turned it around a bit from a run here 2 weeks ago, and I think Coup de Grace is going very well too. I think he's been a bit of an overlooked horse, really. But it's a great day's racing. I mean, even if we don't win a race, I think some of the contests today are just sensational.
You'll be smiling more if you win a race.
I will.
Okay, of course, we know that it's a fine day. We've told you that a couple of times. But what's our official track report? The man to inform us, as well as give us the scratchings, is Simon Marshall.
Yes, and the conditions are perfect. The weather is fine, the track is good. As I said, perfect conditions. Now, scratchings for today in race 3, number 8, Bellbrook. Race 7, there are 17 Brilliance and 18 Confer. And in race 8, number 5, Deep Snip. As I said, the conditions are perfect. The rail is out 3 metres, as it is every year for the Golden Slipper. No complaints for jockeys today. Let's hope we can pick you a winner. Back to you, Kenny.
Thanks, Simon. Well, we'll be trying to do that. And the first race, of course, in this racing show with a difference, comes up in just over 10 minutes' time. And that's at 11:45 a.m. and it's the Queen of the Turf Stakes. Now, the early totes are already available on the Queen of the Turf. Number 1, Arletty, is showing at $6. Rose of Danehill at $4.70. Prairie at $9.20. Number 4, Amber, I think she'll be very hard to beat from the 1 alley. She's at $6.70. Just over $6 for Camino Rose. Greeting is at $12 plus. $13.70 for All the Rave. Snar Dame at $45.70. $9 for Sengiki Beach. And one of the roughies is Palia at $37. Of 2 more, nearly forgot the bottom 2. Something Special in La Lolo at $37.70 and $29.40. One of the favourites, of course, is Rose of Danehill, and she comes out of the Lee Friedman yard. Can she do it, Lee?
Yeah, I don't think the punters should take too much notice of a run here 2 weeks ago. She drew very well that day, but she was used up to hold a position. And, of course, that's the race you well remember, that they went that suicidal pace in front, and it just didn't... Anything that raced handy to that lead didn't go on the straight. So I think she can turn it around today. If she gets a soft lead or a sit outside the leader, she'll be very hard to beat.
She's worked well?
She's worked terrific. She's in perfect condition, so all she needs is a bit of luck from 9 barrier, I think.
Okay, Lee Friedman speaking on Rose of Danehill and the Queen of the Turf. But most interest, of course, today is on the big one, the Golden Slipper Stakes. What are the prices? What's been back this morning? The man to tell us is Sydney's biggest bookie, Colin Tidy.
Thank you very much, Ken. The best 3 backed runners in the slipper in early betting have been Danelar, Manana and Rubicor. There's been 1 bet on Danelar of 50,000 to 7,000 each way. Manana's carried a bet of 50,000 to 7,000 straight out. And Rubicor's carried a bet of 50,000 to 2,000 each way and a couple of bets of 20,000 to 1,000 each way. There's been little money for Laurie's Lottery at this stage, although I do expect there to be a flood for him later. Shavog's quite friendless. There's been specking for Compulsion, and probably that's about it at this stage. Thank you very much.
Well, Cole's smiling, and he might be smiling if one of the favourites win. There's actually 10 colts and geldings running in this year's slipper and 6 fillies. Now, Shane Dye, one of the human male colts, is riding in the first race. He'll join us on the pedal after that race, so perhaps we should start off with the fillies. Now, the best lead-up race I can think of was the Riesling Slipper Trial of a fortnight ago. 3 horses clashed in that are in the slipper: Manana, Dane La and Compulsion.
I think a real important part of this, Manana probably gave Dane La a length and a half, if not 2.
Well, that's Dane La in the pink, about to go to the lead, and Manana in the cerise, 3 out, challenging her.
Yeah, the thing was impressive was the way Manana got to the post. I think Dane La still had some improvement, you know. Now, the man that's going to tell us a little bit more about that is Lee Friedman. Manana's definitely got to be a fantastic chance today. I can't separate her and Dane La. Was there a bit left for Dane La, Lee, out of that race?
Yeah, well, coming off the Blue Diamond win, we were pretty soft on her for 3 weeks because we're trying to keep her fresh for a 1,200 metre race. With her pedigree and the type of filly that she is, if we didn't try and keep her fresh, she'd be looking for 1,400 or 1,600 metres by now, which wasn't our aim. So we probably put her in the race a little soft. I thought she had a decent hit out. It was good to see that she went round this way well. I doubt if the winner could beat her home today. I think there was more improvement in my filly.
Without mixing words, Lee, Compulsion ran poorly in that race. She hardly got into the picture. What tricks have you got up your sleeve to make her run better today?
Well, as Simon well knows, we've been doing a lot of work with her at home with the blinkers and a ring bit. And I feel over the last 2 weeks she has improved significantly. But as I've said to the boys, we don't really know until we put her under race pressure.
Well, Manana, the other filly you saw there, the filly who actually won the race, is trained by John Hawkes and is to be ridden by Larry Cassidy. I asked Larry earlier in the day what he thought of her chances.
Well, I sort of thought, you know, there's going to be plenty of speed in the race. I sort of thought if I could be running 6th, 7th or 8th, you know, 4 lengths behind the leaders would probably be a nice spot. You know, the main thing is just to stay out of trouble in the early stages and come into that first corner, and you know, it gives you a greater chance.
How many rides have you had in the slipper, Larry?
Had about 3 or 4 rides. I think I've run about 8th or 9th or 10th or something, so nothing to get too excited, but I'm you know, feeling a bit excited at the moment.
He's a nice fella, Larry, and I'm sure he'll give Manana every chance. Well, that's 3 of the fillies down. You heard Colin Tidy say earlier that one of the best back runners this morning has been Rubicall. Now, Rubicall has worked brilliantly at Rosehill during the week. I think she broke 34 seconds for 600 metres on Tuesday morning. Here she is, the sort of grey-black filly, going to the lead, 3 out from the rails. And there's a lot to like about her. She's improved with each run.
Yeah, she has improved with each run and just does enough. When I say does enough, you know, she's won there probably a length and a quarter in the end. She's probably been running against not the top quality, but she's against the top quality today. But because she's won so impressively each time, I think she's got to be given a good chance.
I think, Simon, the fact that she's won one of the lead-up races gives her a chance, but I doubt that the form and that's strong enough. That's my view.
Well, I think pretty much the same with the Magic Night Stakes, which was won by Marty's Magic. If we pick up tape here, you'll see that she was quite impressive. She finishes powerfully when she gets to the outside. That's her virtually in the mauvey colours, the whitest runner of all. She picks up statement with a flashing finish and contour along the rails, but, you know, I like Lee, I put a big question mark on that. Let's go back to Manana's race. Now, the horse in the white cap flashing home to run 3rd is Glamis. Now, I thought the way she got to the line gives her a fluker's hope. She's also a winner in Melbourne about a month back.
It's one of the keys I'd like to see in a slipper, and Lee, you'd be able to probably answer this question. I'd love to see a horse finding the line in these lead-up races, really getting that line hard, because they need that extra, don't they, for the Golden Slipper?
It's a difficult race, Simon, to prepare them for, because you've got to have the horses very fit but fresh as well. It's a difficult. I hope they don't sweat up as much as you.
Yes. I think they're better trained than that, Lee. Right, what we want now is the track work specials from Darren Beedman and Simon Marshall. Take it away, Simon.
Yes, and they're racing at Sandown in Melbourne today, and I've got to try and find a winner because I didn't tip a winner last week, but my good buddy Darren Beedman did. Darren, you did well with Josh Dix last week.
Thanks, mate. We kept the flag flying, so that's all that matters.
Congratulations. Well, here, let's see if I can pick you a winner. Now, the best track worker at Caulfield. Race 2, number 6, Lady Bitten. Joshy Rodder tells me that Mighty Impulse should win again. That's race 6, number 1. From Flemington, race 2, number 2, Ascorbic. It's working very well. And race 5, number 6, Brave Strike. Now, from Cranbourne, Dean Lester tells me that Palace Symphony is nearly a good thing in the first. Race 1, number 1. In race 4, number 6, Ancient City should get the chocolates. Now, my best from Sandown are race 4, number 6, Ancient City. And in race 6, rate each way value, Gold Boom. Now, my slipper tips for today, Darren, are number 12, Danelaw. I like her, and I also tipped Lee Friedman to have the Quinella. A big each way bet on Coupe de Grey in the Golden Slipper. Now, what's been happening in Sydney, buddy?
Well, man out at Randwick, Craig Thompson, has been telling us of the Friedman connection. Danelaw is the horse that's really been burning up the turf there. It's contesting in the Golden Slipper today. Kensington Palace is coming off a Group 1 win in Melbourne, and she's been working well. From Warwick Farm, Doc Holliday's been telling us that Manana has done extremely well since her last win. Now, of my selections today, Northern Drake in race 3, number 1. I think he's a very, very good chance. And my each way special is race 6, number 3, Deep Snip. Of my slipper selection, it's Paris Dream, Manana, Laurie's Lottery. Back with the racing show after this break.
On Win Television.
The Canberra champion races away to win the 1998 Tooheys Black Opal Stakes in brilliant fashion. The ACT Racing Club, home of the Tooheys Black Opal, the Qantas Canberra Cup and the Win TV Canberra Guineas. Feel the power of Canberra racing in the nation's capital.
$6, Rose of Danehill at $4.40. Prairie from the John Hawke stable at $10.20. The horse I like, Amber, to be ridden by Mick Dittman. Great rider Mick, $6.40. $6.30 for Camino Rose, the runner-up in the Group 1 Coolmore Classic a fortnight ago. Greeting, another John Hawkes runner at $13.10. All the Rave at $11.40. $50 plus for Snardame. $10.40 for Sengiki Beach. Palia at $34 plus. And the two over the page, Something Special. A little bit disappointing in weaker company last start, but seems a good price, $38.30. And La Lolo at $32.90. And there is Rose of Danehill. She looks a treat from this distance, but Simon Marshall's over at the barrier. Simon, how does Rose of Danehill look?
Exceptional, Kenny. Absolutely looks marvellous and has done very well up here in Sydney, and she's my second pick behind the barriers here. Actually, I thought Arletty was a complete standout, a magnificent looking mare, this filly, I should say. She's just standing up there with Shane Dyer Border, just about to be loaded. And I also thought the Prairie looked fine as well, and your pick, Kenny Amber, is very fit and very forward. So on looks, the toppy takes the cake here. As I said, Arletty from Rose of Danehill and Amber. Ken, back to you.
Thanks, Simon. Yeah, well, Shane Dye will give Arletty every chance. She'll go forward. I thought her and Rose of Danehill would go forward, and hopefully Amber will just get the nice run behind them on the rails. Hopefully for me, that is. There's Something Special in the green colours joining the line. They're just about ready. Let's go to John Tapp for the call of race 1 on Golden Slipper Day.
Thanks, Ken. All set, starter onto his stand, ready to run in the Novotel Queen of the Turf Stakes, and the line looks good. Off and running, beautiful start, came away in a good line. Sengiki Beach went straight back to the tail of the field. Arletty actually bounced out in front, but Dye's not keen to lead. All the Rave is getting through into second spot, followed by Rose of Danehill. Amber on the fence getting into the box seat, followed by La Lolo. Palia trapped out deep. Greeting is wide also. Further back, Snardame, and then Sengiki Beach, followed by Prairie, Something Special. And Camino Rose is back near last, but no more than 7 lengths off the lead. They dawdled early. Darren Gauci found himself wide on Greeting, so he elected to kick up and go to the front. Now he steadies again. Moving to second, Palia. Rose of Danehill third in a muddling run race, followed by Arletty. La Lolo, the grey and the white colours travelling 3 deep, and then All the Rave, Something Special. Amber is boxed away midfield on the fence, followed by Snardame, and then Prairie. Sengiki Beach second last. Camino Rose last, about 8 off the lead. She'll have to do a big job because the pace has been very slow. Greeting joined by Palia. La Lolo is about to go up 3 deep, followed by Rose of Danehill. Arletty on the fence with nowhere to go, then All the Rave, followed by Prairie. Camino Rose is taken to the extreme outside. In the straight, 300 out, Greeting and Palia. There's a rails run coming for Arletty if she's good enough, followed by Something Special, and Camino Rose down the middle of the track. Arletty got right through on the fence to head Greeting. The others look to be struggling. Arletty draws clear. Greeting's fighting back strongly, but Arletty's going to be too good. She didn't spend 1 cent in the run, and Arletty beat Greeting. Third at Camino Rose, and if you look at the clock, you'll see that her run was tremendous, followed by Amber, Palaya, Sengigi Beach, then Prairie, Something Special, Rose of Dane Hill, All the Rave, followed by Snar Dame, and last of all is La Lolo.
John Tapp summed it up perfectly in the call. They walked and the horses near the lead fought it out. Greeting hung off the rail in the straight for Gauchi. This gave the run to the winner, Arletty. Shane Dye, of course, said thank you very much. And Arletty, formerly New Zealand mare, she's been over here for 6 months, was just too strong then with the advantage of that inside run. And Arletty ran on to beat Greeting with Camino Rose flashing into third spot. $6 exactly for Arletty and $2.20 the place. Greeting at $3.40. Camino Rose at $2.10 as we go for a break from the racing show on Golden Slipper Day 1998.
Going fast along the inside, Piccadilly Circus is still the leader. Special Edition is trying to get through along the inside, but disappointed for a runner. Samanda Strike admired coming at them down the outside, and Coup de Gras with a flashing runner. Coup de Gras over on the outside has hit the front from admired. Coup de Gras is clear in the final stages. Special Edition on the inside getting clear, but Coup de Gras for the size projects.
Well, he certainly worked home well, Coup de Gras there. Lee Freedman, one of your team, good enough to win a slipper?
Yeah, I think he's a bit underrated, considering he's just won a Group 1 race at his last start. I mean, you can dissect the slipper any way you want, but it's a very open race. There's nothing to say this horse hasn't got a chance.
That, of course, was Coup de Gras winning the VRC Size Produce Stakes, which I think was about March 10, so it's about 3.5 weeks ago now. Right, one of the great slipper trials was turned in last Saturday in the Pago Stakes by Paris Dream, trained by Graham Rogerson. Let's pick up the tape and you'll see Paris Dream just pushing off the rails there in the red cap, puts himself into the clear, gets outside of Brilliance and really works to the line strongly. The widest runner in the white cap, incidentally, is Prowl.
Yeah, look, Paris Dream, there was enormous raps on Paris Dream leading into the Blue Diamond Stakes. A lot of the people that are meant to know think this horse is chock full of ability. Again here, one of the things I think you've got to have in the slipper is a horse finding the line. He did.
He found the line, he responded to the whip, and he's a definite chance. If you don't believe me, you listen to what his trainer Graham Rogerson's got to say about him.
Yeah, he seems to be coming right at the right time, and his attitude and everything, it's lovely. Blinkers on, I've used the crossover on him, and he seems to have relaxed, and his work this morning was just sensational, and thanks to Johnny Jeffs, he let him work on the grass, the race day grass this morning, and he did his final gallop this morning.
He's obviously come good at the right time.
Well, he's running, if he reproduces it Saturday and he gets, if he can race in the first 7 or 8, I think the barrier draw was a great help for sure.
Yeah, that's where you're expecting to settle down, just behind the speed?
Well, I think it's up the ground. If he digs him out of the barrier, he's naturally going to be closer, but I think once he gets there, he seems to be able to hold his posse, but, the slipper is a different sort of race, and I think there'll be a lot of speed on, so I expect him to just back off the speed, but I've left it totally to Grant.
Okay, that was a win for Paris Dream, but the start before that, he only finished 3rd behind Speed Week, a slipper runner, and Splendid Horse, another slipper runner in the Black Opal Stakes at Canberra. Now, that should be a good form race. Here's the vision of that. Now, it's Speed Week in front on the inside, Splendid Horse in the blue colours outside of him. After this, they put blinkers on Splendid Horse, and Paris Dream runs home along the inside to get 3rd money. A bit of form here, boys. Might surprise people, the Canberra race.
Yeah, look, there's a bit of form there, but there's no history there. Yet a Black Opal horse coming here to win a slipper, that hasn't been done before. Look, I just think, in my own personal opinion, both those horses are just going to be a little bit underclassed today.
Ken, Black Opal form's not worth a stamp when it comes to the Golden Slipper. Not worth a stamp. St Cuthbert was the best two-year-old by 100 yards a year. He won it. He couldn't win the slipper either.
So was Glenn O'Sullivan.
Well, the horse that Lee's got a very big opinion of is Shivog, as Shane Dye joins us. And Shivog raced against Splendid Horse the very next week in the Illawarra Mercury Classic at Kembla Grange. Shivog didn't quite hit the line, which I don't think surprised Lee Freedman, Lee.
Well, look, I like this horse. I think he's got plenty of potential, but he's had to carry the burden of a huge wrap since he started racing. And his Melbourne campaign, some of those runs were pretty good, but he just doesn't seem to have put it together in time to win a slipper.
There was a big bias this day. If you didn't lead, you didn't have a lot of hope. I believe there was 4 or 5 lengths advantage to lead in the race. And if a horse handled that track, it was on the slow side, but puggy, they were always going to win.
Well, Shane, now that you've joined us, congratulations on the first race. A splendid ride.
Thank you. I had a lovely run, got the run through on the fence, and the horse was just too good.
Now, a horse that you rode last start, but you're not riding in the Golden Slipper, is Prowl.
Yes.
Let's have a look at the vision of that again now that Shane's joined us. Can you tell us it's he in the white cap?
Yeah, this was a real good run this day, Ken. He got trapped 3 and 4 wide. He didn't have a lot of luck. We were always going to try and ride him 5th or 6th instead of going forward to lead this day. And he boxed on really good. He was entitled to stop more. Now, he's got a great chance today from barrier 1, and I believe this is the horse that Laurie's Lottery has to beat.
Shane, was he a little touch fresh that day? He seemed to over-race a fair bit.
Well, that's one of the reasons I went for Laurie's Lottery. When I went to come back, I wasn't happy that he didn't come back quick enough with me. And in a Golden Slipper, sometimes you have to come back to avoid scrimmages and that. And I just thought he would pull. But this is a week ago. Now we've got barrier 1 today.
Shane, just on screen now is Laurie's Lottery, the first time Shane had ridden him. Here he is racing against Alf. It's Alf on the inside, Laurie's Lottery in the yellow and blue colours. Shane, take it away.
Well, what I liked about this day here was when they quickened here at about the 250, they put 3 or 2 lengths on the rest of them very, very quickly. And there was good improvement in Laurie's Lottery from 2 weeks ago as to today. Also, the form around a Glacier hasn't been strong, but you've got horses like Electrifying and that, who were in that race and have been going around every week against Prowl and horses like Paris Dream. And now analysing it, I thought that run was better than last week.
Louis, what do you think of Laurie's Lottery?
You can't knock winning form. He's won everything that they've put him into. I don't know. He's trained at Toowoomba. I'm not knocking the trainer. I don't know the guy, but he's a Toowoomba horse. Until he ran against Alf here, he hadn't beaten much. He ran against Alf here. Alf is arguably the best 2-year-old in New Zealand, but New Zealand 2-year-old form's usually disgraceful. So I think he's got a chance, but I don't think he's any good thing.
I get the impression that Lee's not particularly scared of them. I wonder what is a good thing on today's meeting. Simon is our celebrity tipster today as we go to a break. One of your good friends, that quiet little fellow, Sam Newman.
Well, I've given the Golden Slipper plenty of thought, and you could be on Laurie's Lottery, you could be on Coup de Grace, or me old mate Simon O'Donnell's nag Compulsion. But if you're going to be on anything, be on the Prowl.
Racing show, we can already see the crowd building up, and there's a lot more people in the grandstands and behind the grandstands already having bets with the bookmakers. And what's going to win one today? Well, my best bet on the program, appropriately, is trained by Lee Friedman. Her name is Kensington Palace. I think she can get the prize. I thought her run in the Moonee Valley Oaks was super. In race 7 in the Golden Slipper, of course, the AAMI Golden Slipper, my trifecta is 5, 1, 11. Prowl, Laurie's Lottery, Manana. What about you, Simon?
Yeah, Kenny, I like Dodge here. I think he's a good bet from the John Hawke stable. I think he's got a great chance today. His last start was a beauty, and I can't separate the fillies. Manana, Danelaw and Compulsion.
Okay, thank you, Simon. Lee Friedman, have you got a winner for us on the program?
I do think Kensington Palace has got a great chance. She's drawn a bit ordinary, but she is a very good filly. I tipped it 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago on the Blue Diamond, Danelaw, and I'm going to tip her again today. I think she can win it.
Winning form.
That's the best.
Ken, I thought Dundee had a good chance in the next. I know Burning Empires is going to be very, very hard to beat, but it's a good Cronulla. And if I don't win the slipper, I hope Prowl does.
Okay, Shane, and don't forget, today on the Wide World of Sport, we've got 6 hours of racing and surf life-saving. That's all from the Racing Show.